You want to know how desperate the Kamala Harris campaign is? JD Vance responded to the deadly school shooting in Georgia by saying how much he hates what's going on, how awful and tragic the shooting was, and he wished this wasn't a fact of life, but we've got to make schools safer. And Kamala, running with the dishonest, corrupt Associated Press headline, claimed that JD Vance said school shootings are just a fact of life. It's another media scandal, a lie that was told by the media and then by the Kamala Harris campaign. And of course, the problem is when people see filth like that, they're going to run with it. They see the headline and they believe it. That JD Vance is so awful, he thinks school shootings are a fact of life. We have the clip of JD. I can't find it. Do we have the real clip of what JD said? Gosh, there's so much these days. Kind of get overwhelmed. There's so much breaking news. And look, we're a couple of days away, Tuesday night, for the big debate. It's going to be the most consequential debate in American history. I don't know that with a debate with Trump and Biden, the only thing that the Trump-Biden debate revealed was how cognitively impaired Joe Biden is. So we didn't learn anything about policy. I guess we're going to learn about Kamala, but let's face it. She's been lying through her teeth about every position she's ever taken. So she'll stand there. I hope somebody asks her Tuesday night, well, why have you changed your mind about plastic straws? Why have you changed your mind about fracking? Why have you changed your mind about the border? Why have you changed your mind about Medicare for all? Why have you changed your mind about capital gains taxes? I mean, you could spend the whole night Tuesday night. What is it, 2 hours long? And we just got news that our radio stations across the country are going to have the right to carry it, so that's good. So if you're in and about listening to your favorite station, be sure to tune in. I'm going to be part of the pre-debate show on radio and Salem News Channel with Larry Elder. I'm going to be broadcasting from the Studio Movie Grill in Seminole, Florida. I hope you can join us there in person. We have a few seats left. TheAnswerTampa.com for tickets, and they're going quick. We're going to have door prizes. It's my goal, and I told Tracy, I want everybody who goes to walk away with the door prize. You know what the top door prize is? A personally signed, personally autographed MAGA baseball cap by Donald Trump himself. That's one of the door prizes we're going to be giving away. Lots of great door prizes. Studio Movie Grill, they've got them all over the country. My buddy Mark Davis does these kind of events at the Studio Movie Grill in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We've got one in Tampa Bay over in Seminole, and that's where we're going to be Tuesday night. So come out and join us. If you're going to be in and around the area, go to theanswertampa.com to order your tickets. I got friends coming. I got some great colleagues. Tracy's going to be there. Theanswertampa.com. Bill Bunkley, one of my colleagues here in Salem, Tampa, is going to be there with us. We're going to have a great evening. I look forward to seeing you in person. TheAnswerTampa.com for your tickets. Don't put this off. But look, I mean, if Kamala stands at that podium Tuesday night and pretends to be somebody she's not, is that going to work for her? I got one Kamala supporter who called the show and said, well, look, if doing what she's doing is working, why wouldn't she do it? If you're winning, he said, now she's not winning at all. Most polling shows he's winning. Some polls show she's edging ahead. Pennsylvania seems to be the key, and every poll shows Trump wins Pennsylvania if the election were held today. So a narrative that she's winning is a lie and is a joke, just like she's a joke. Speaking of what a joke she is, check out the latest Trump ad that just dropped. This is actually her. It's not editing. her cackling and giggling about illegal immigrants and crime.
It is our undocumented immigrants that are the least likely to commit a crime.
Police report as many as 75% of the people they've arrested.
Stop it just for a minute. Stop it real quick. Isn't that fascinating that a woman who wants to be elected the leader of the free world, the commander-in-chief, stands at a podium, and look, I'm not trying to get personal here, but I mean this from the heart. Play just the first few, play that first part again, Christian, including the weird laughter.
It is our undocumented immigrants that are the least likely to commit a crime.
Police.
Now, honest question. What is it about illegals committing crime or not committing crime that she thinks is the funniest thing she's ever heard? And they call Trump and Vance weird? I mean, look, the weirdness for Tim Walz is off the charts. That guy, I don't even know how to begin to describe this guy. I mean, he's a piece of work. He weighed in on Israel. You want to hear this guy? You want to hear Tim Walz, the tyrannical, far-left, rabid governor of Minnesota? This is audio only. I want you to hear an audio clip of Tim Walz and how the Harris-Walz administration, my gosh, I keep thinking about him being a heartbeat away from the presidency. Heck, I think of her being in the presidency. But imagine this guy being the vice president of the United States at a time like this where serious solutions are needed for serious problems like the war between Israel and Hamas. Check out Tampon Tim.
We can't allow what's happened in Gaza to happen. The Palestinian people have every right to life and liberty themselves. We need to continue, I think, to put the leverage on to make sure we move towards a two-state solution. I think we're at a critical point right now. We need the Netanyahu government to start moving in that direction. But I think those folks who are speaking out loudly in Michigan are speaking out for all the right reasons. It's a humanitarian crisis. It can't stand the way it is, and we need to find a way that people can live together in this. And we've said it and continue to say it, getting a ceasefire with the return of the hostages and then moving towards a sustainable two-state solution is the only way forward.
Did you hear what he said about what's going on in Michigan? Do you know what's going on in Michigan? Pro-Hamas demonstrations. People who favor and support and lift up the terrorists who slaughtered those 6 hostages last week, including an American. Did you hear what he said? The people in Michigan are protesting for all the right reasons. I want to hear Governor Stolen Valor explain the right ways and the right reasons one would support terrorists who commit brutal acts of barbarism and torture and indescribable agony and death. Yeah, those folks wearing their kippahs and they're waving their Hamas flags and screaming from the river to the sea, Palestine shall be free. According to Tim Walz, they're all protesting for the right reasons. Let's go back to the Trump campaign ad with this bizarre, Vermont just texted me on the MyPillow text line, which is a perfect way to describe this. There has to be something mentally wrong with Kamala. Her laughs and her timing make no sense. Think of that comment as you hear an actual clip, unedited, where she breaks out in a gale of laughter over her assertion that illegals are the least likely to commit crimes in America. And then the Trump campaign brilliantly puts together a lot of contradictions to her absurd claim.
It is our undocumented immigrants that are the least likely to commit a crime.
Police report as many as 75% of the people they've arrested in Midtown Manhattan for assault, robbery, and domestic violence are illegal migrants.
Police have tracked down a killer whose crimes span the country. Rachel Marin was dragged from a hiking trail in Maryland where she was raped and murdered.
Police say Brandon Ortiz Vite used a handgun he bought illegally to shoot Ruby Garcia multiple times on Friday.
The prime suspect charged in Laken Riley's murder It's 26-year-old Jose Antonio Ibarra. He illegally entered the United States back in 2022.
A Texas grand jury indicted Rafael Govea Romero. He's accused of attacking 16-year-old Lisbeth Medina by repeatedly hitting her head and stabbing her.
So let's get our notions together about what we're talking about.
And then the graphic says Kamala Harris is weak, failed, and dangerously liberal. Trump Vance 2024. Look, I know the polls show that Trump has a slight edge, and if the election were held today, they all predict he'd win. I don't know what's going to happen over the next 60 days, but I don't want to accept that it's even going to be close. I in my mind, I cannot even wrap my brain around any potential for that imbecile to be elected president of the United States of America. You're laughing and giggling hysterically over crime and illegal. How do you think the family of Laken Riley feels about a clip with Kamala cackling like a crazed maniac over illegals and crime? How do you think anybody in America who's been hit by a drunk driver or lost a kid or is facing some kind of perilous journey because of crimes committed by an illegal, how do you think they feel about her cackling and giggling and guffawing like a crazed hyena? This is not a serious person. She was the most unpopular vice president in American history for a reason. She's not likable. Nobody likes her. What's her office turnover rate? 92%. People can't stand her. That's why they kept her kind of hidden during the Biden administration. You're going to like that lady? You're going to like somebody who's cackling and giggling at everything? And it's, you know what it is. People that do that are just insecure. They don't have the confidence. They pretend to have confidence. They strut around and they act like they're large and in charge. She's not in charge of anything. Let me go back to the lie that the AP told and then the Kamala Harris campaign ran with, claiming that JD Vance said that school shootings are a fact of life.
Now look, the Kamala Harris answer to this is to take law-abiding American citizens' guns away from them. That is what Kamala Harris wants to do. She says, look, I don't like this. I don't like to admit this. I don't like that this is a fact of life. But if you are a psycho and you want to make headlines, you realize that our schools are soft targets. And we have got to bolster security at our schools so that a person who walks through the front door
You want to know what the Associated Press said about those comments? That JD Vance claimed that school shootings are a fact of life. And then the Harris campaign shamefully ran with it. Now, you know, to prove how deceitful it was, they took that post down. But the AP did, the Associated Press. I don't know that Kamala retracted anything because she doesn't retract anything. She just flip-flops and flip-flops and flip-flops. 1-800-655-MIKE, 800-655-6453. I hope you join us. It's the Mike Gallagher Show for a Friday.
Portions of the Mike Gallagher Show are brought to you by MyPillow.